I want to say good evening to our friends and family in the United States, in Canada. I want to greet Ursula, my dear friend in Georgia. I always say Atlanta, but she's not in Atlanta. In Georgia, I trust that you're listening and that you're well and that recovering from the pain of losing your mom. I want to wish all of our friends and family in the United Kingdom and elsewhere a wonderful good evening. I want to especially say hello to my friend Doctor in New York, Dr. Hull in Washington, D.C., all of our friends and family, wherever they are, my sisters in New York. I want to say good evening to all of you. Welcome to another edition of On the Mark. To our friends and family, wherever you are, to Nevisians and Kitchens, wherever you are, to those who are not from St. Kitts and Nevis, but who listen to the show and who now watch the show, because we are, of course, on Facebook Live, I want to say good evening to you and welcome to another edition of On the Mark, straight talk across the Narrows. We're here this evening. The island is a bit tense because, of course, we are in the path of Tropical Storm Isaac. We're grateful to God that it has been downgraded, and so from a hurricane it is now down to tropical storm. Tonight we will make an announcement, we hope, on the show and through other channels or the media houses as to whether schools will be open tomorrow on the island of Nevis, whether government offices will be open. We hope that you will be tuned in. We're supposed to get an advisory at 8, and from that advisory, the good people at the disaster preparedness, they will issue a notice, they will issue the advice to us, and I, as the Premier and the Cabinet, we are on standby to make a determination as to what we do. Our first priority, of course, is to ensure that our people are safe, and so we will do what we need to do to ensure that our school children and all of our people are safe, and so we need to take that decision, and I beg you to stay tuned for those who are listening. For those who are not yet listening, if you can tune in, because we hope to make an announcement through this medium, but also through other mediums later this evening once that 8 p.m. advisory is updated and we have a sense. We are nevertheless grateful because even though we are in the path, clearly as a tropical storm, we expect that the potential damage is considerably less than a hurricane, and we are praying and hoping that this storm continues to weaken as it approaches us. May I, however, ask our people to remember our neighbors in their prayers, particularly Dominica, Martinique, and our French islands, because the storm appears to be headed to them and is likely to hit them with much stronger force winds than it would likely hit us. And so we're praying and hoping for them, and I'm asking our people to remember them, particularly Dominica, which was so ravaged last year and which now again is under the proverbial gun, so to speak, having faced the ravages of last year's storms. It really now has not even started to recover, and yet now facing the risks again. So please remember Dominica, remember our friends and family throughout the region. At the end of the day, we are one region, we are one people, and I pray that you will remember them in your prayers and ask for God's mercy and His grace, not only on ourselves, but on them also, so that we do not only pray that the storms will do minimal damage here on the island of Nevis and on the island of St. Kitts, but we also pray that it will do minimal damage elsewhere. I'll get back to the storm later as I get the update from the Disaster Management Unit, but for now, I just want to put you on alert that we're likely to say something during the course of the show as to what is going to happen tomorrow. Whilst I have the mic, so to speak, please allow me to extend my very deep condolences to the family of Ernie and Tuvia France. I think we did so last week, but I want to do so again this week. Tuvia works with us in St. Kitts at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and I am very much concerned, of course, because she has lost not only her mom, but someone she said who raised her and who has since been buried in Statia. And I really want to extend my own condolences to Ernie, whom I went to school with, Tuvia, whom I work with, on their loss, and to say to them that the prayers of the multitude will always comfort them in their hour of bereavement. I also want to extend my deep condolences to the Stanley family in Coal Hill. Mrs. Stanley, I don't know if you're listening. I know you have come home. Having just buried your husband, you've now come to bury one of your sons. And I want to extend my deep condolences to you and to the entire family. I hope that I will be able to come and see you before you leave, but clearly tomorrow with the storms approaching, we're not yet sure how it's going to go. But please know that my prayers and my thoughts are with you and with the family. And I'm deeply saddened to hear that you've lost a son, now having lost your husband just recently. And so I extend my heartfelt condolences to you and to the entire family, and remind you, as I always remind everyone, that our prayers and the prayers of all Nivisions and all people of goodwill will comfort you in your hour of bereavement. Ladies and gentlemen, we have had an interesting week this week, and a lot has been happening. Tonight I had to be on the show, so I could not be at the Prime Minister's lecture series that he's having, that is happening now, I'm told. But I wish them well with that event. Here on the island of Nevis, we are having a number of events. This Sunday night, it's the talk of the Federation. In fact, it's the talk of the Caribbean, because we're going to have the two biggest bands in reggae, Steel Pulse and Third World, conscious music. We thought that that music was most appropriate for Sunday night. That music was the kind of message that we in Nevis want to convey to our people and to our country. A message of togetherness, a message of upliftment, a message of unity, of consciousness, a message of love and togetherness, a message that we say is One Nevis. We have dubbed this concert One Federation, One Nevis, One Love. The idea is that we are encouraging our people to come together as one. In our PCCM, it really doesn't matter. We want our people to come together as one. That is why I have championed and advocated in my governance style an inclusive approach, that this is truly One Nevis. I trust and hope that people see and recognize that it's not just chatter, but it's certainly something that we are serious about, and something that we are walking the walk, not just talking the talk. And so certainly we look forward to people coming out in large numbers. I got a call from St. Kitts just last night, and they're saying to us that half of St. Kitts is coming over for the show, and they hope that we have enough space at the Cultural Village. I think we will have enough space. I think we can hold easily 5,000 or 6,000 people. I've asked for 10, but I realistically think 5,000 or 6,000 would be just fine. And we're inviting one and all to come out and really just be together in peace, love, harmony, uplifting music. Last week we played a couple songs. Young people, some of them are saying they don't know Third World, they don't know Steel Pulse, but it's a good time for you to come and know them. Music such as Try Ja Love from Third World, 96 Degrees in the Shade, Now That We Found Love, What Are We Going to Do With It? Steel Pulse, Chant a Psalm a Day, Roller Skates. I mean, some phenomenal songs. But even more importantly is that for Steel Pulse, they're doing a tribute to Grizzly Nisbet, Stephen Grizzly Nisbet, a Nivision, born in Brickhill, who moved to England and became a drummer for Steel Pulse in their heyday. When they were at the top of their game, they were one of the most phenomenal reggae bands in the world, perhaps a rival to Bob Marley and the Wailers, from the region of 1977 to about 2001, an era when they had their greatest hits. The drummer for Steel Pulse was none other than Stephen Grizzly Nisbet from Nevis. And so we are going to have a tribute to him on the night, and then certainly on the following day, which will be Monday, which is a public holiday. That's Monday the 17th. It's a public holiday. We're going to have a small ceremony in Brickhill to honor the memory of Stephen Grizzly Nisbet. And so we are paying tribute to our own, and Steel Pulse in a way is coming home, because Steve Grizzly Nisbet would have died sadly this January of this year. And so we want to thank the members of the band. We want to encourage them to come. A lot of young people are saying, well, we don't know about Third World and we don't know about Steel Pulse. And I'm telling you, you do know them. You hear the music all the time, but you may not be aware of who they are. But just in case, we also have the man Speedy on the show. We have Deli Ranks on the show. We have Ripper HD on the show. We also have from St. Kitts two youngsters who are making waves, De Jour, I'm told, and one called Byron Messiah. And so we expect a packed show. DJ Woodis will keep us rocking in between. And, of course, the one and only Sugar Bowl will be hosting the show. It's going to be a fantastic event. The event is free. We're encouraging people to wear national colors, to show their unity, to show their pride, to show their patriotism, and to pay homage to our national heroes, one of whom, of course, is the Right Excellent and Right Honorable Sir Simeon Daniel of Barnsgut, our first Premier, a man who I think across the political spectrum, across the length and breadth of this country, it can be said truthfully, has made a tremendous contribution to the life and times of our island. And so please come out, let's celebrate each other, let's be together, let's really and truly come together as one, as we say, one Nevis, one federation, one love. And that's what we're seeking to promote. We feel the church community invited them. We have formally invited them. We hope that the church community will come out, because again, this music is very uplifting music. It's conscious music. It is a music we feel that people can really get into, because it encourages the best in us rather than the worst in us. And so this is something that we're certainly encouraging our people to come. And as I said, because it's a Sunday night, it starts at 9 p.m. We are mindful that it is a Sunday, which is a traditional Sabbath, and that was the only day that we could have done the event because of the schedule of these two very important bands. But nevertheless, we ensured that the type of music that we had for the night would be appropriate. And so there'll be no profanity, no anything of that nature, just uplifting, really conscious, really bringing people together, building a nice vibe. And I really anticipate that we're going to have a fantastic, fantastic time. And so we encourage one and all to come out. There are lots of ads on radio, on social media. It's really been a buzz of activity. And so we look forward to seeing one and all at this event in Nevis. So all of St. Kitts, we're asking you to come out if you want a night of just togetherness and conscious, just enjoyable music. Steel Pulse and Third World are phenomenal musicians, and they're going to put on a show. They promised us they're going to put on a show. More than that, on Saturday, Third World has agreed to do a music workshop at NEPAC, and they're inviting all who are interested in music to come out and be a part of that. And so, as you may or may not know, Cat Core of Third World, whose father was David Core, who was Attorney General of Jamaica. Cat Core is a classical cellist, and was a child prodigy on the cello. And so I'm hopeful, because that's one of the things I love about him. He tends to take out the cello at points during the concert and start playing some classical music. And so I love that about him. But Cat Core is a phenomenal musician. I don't think there's any instrument that he can't play. And he's there from the original group. Sadly, Bunny Ruggs has passed, the lead singer with a golden voice. But certainly they're going to come and they're going to do all the favorites for us. And I think put on an excellent, excellent show for the public of St. Kitts and Nevis. I'm told today that we have planes coming in from St. Croix in the U.S. Virgin Islands. We have some folks who are coming in from Antigua. We have some folks who are coming in from Anguilla. And we certainly welcome those from Montserrat and elsewhere who can make it. It's going to be a great weekend. Come and spend the weekend. We hope that we will not have too much disruption from the storm that is threatening, and that we can get through tomorrow and then get into a weekend which we hope will be a weekend that is pleasant weather. We do know that there's some other storms out there, but they're not threatening us. They've turned north. And so we're hoping and praying that Jehovah God continues to let his face shine upon us, and to grant us his grace and his abundant and abiding mercy. So that is where we are in relation to that. Now, in relation to some good news, I wanted to advise that this week, or not this week, last week Friday in fact, we have had the phenomenal achievement for our country of the United States of America announcing that nationals of St. Kitts and Nevis living in St. Kitts and Nevis who have had a visa, a U.S. visa, which has expired within the last 12 months, will no longer have to go to Barbados to renew their visa. They will now do it online. And I want to say, ladies and gentlemen, that if as your foreign minister I have achieved nothing else in your estimation, I believe that this achievement is truly phenomenal for our people. And I'll tell you why. We have heard from all of our people of the devastating impact on their pocket of having to travel to Barbados, sometimes a family of 3 or 4, spending thousands of dollars on airfare, hotel, and the like to get a visa. Sometimes they go there having spent all that money to be told that the answer is no, and they have been denied. We have had, and I think people out there can understand because they've experienced it, a lot of people who have tried and tried and have not got through. Well, this may not help those who have tried and not got through, but it certainly will help those who did get through and who now need to renew. Because hitherto, if you had a visa and your visa was coming to an end, you still had to go to Barbados to renew it. So the U.S. government has extended this tremendous courtesy to Barbados, Grenada, St. Lucia, and St. Kitts and Nevis. We're the only 4 countries in the Caribbean that have been extended this particular courtesy. I've seen a lot of debate and a lot of discussions about it. People have said, oh, the government should not get any credit. Mark Brantley, as foreign minister, should not get any credit for this. They've said all kinds of things. But I'm here to tell you that the interesting thing about politics I have found is that if something bad happens, I could be home fast asleep in my bed. I could be abroad when it happens. People will say, it is your fault. Government, you're in government. It is your problem. It is your fault. You're the reason why this is happening. Just look at crime as a prime example. But the same people, when something good happens, are very quick to say, you should get no credit for it. I'm not in the credit business per se. What I will say is that I am proud, and the record will show what the achievements have been. Why? Because when we entered government in 2015, and the Prime Minister said that he had sufficient confidence in me to give me the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to manage, and therefore to make me the chief diplomat in this country, I had an uphill task. I had a difficult task. Let us recall that just before we took office in 2015, the United States had issued a FinCEN advisory on St. Kitts and Nevis, warning that people were abusing our CBI program to get around sanctions on Iran. Let us recall that Canada had issued a cruel blow in removing our visa-free access to Canada. And so our people were subjected to having now to send documents to Trinidad to get a Canadian visa, when before we used to waltz into Canada when we want. Not only that, the Canadians have now advised that they will be collecting biometrics as of December of this year. And so after December, we will likely have to travel out of St. Kitts and Nevis, although we are in talks with them to ask them if they can do an itinerant program where they come in the jurisdiction to collect that data. Nevertheless, countries have been doing what they're doing. But Canada's revocation of our visa-free access, they said specifically why that was. They were concerned with identity management practices within our CBI program. Many have sought to argue that this was some general policy by Canada. That is not true. Canada meted out that punishment to St. Christopher and Nevis and St. Christopher and Nevis only. As a matter of fact, on the same day that Canada withdrew visa waiver from us, they granted it to Chile, a country vastly more populous than St. Kitts and Nevis. And so clearly this was not any consistent policy of Canada. As a matter of fact, since we have lost visa-free access to Canada, Canada has granted it to all of Europe, and they recently granted it to United Arab Emirates. So Canada has no general policy of requiring visas to come. And we had always enjoyed in St. Kitts and Nevis visa-free access to Canada. It was a failure in diplomacy that cost us that privilege. And we well recall the debates during that time when many sought to convince us that it did not matter. In fact, they said we had joined other countries, several other countries, and therefore, what was the big deal? That really and truly it did not matter. They tried to hoodwink us, but the populace saw it differently, and the electorate ultimately voted the way they voted. So when the Prime Minister said to me in 2015, your charge is to go and fix these problems. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to commend our Permanent Secretary, Ms. Kay Bass. I want to commend our High Commissioners and Ambassadors throughout the world, their staff, the hard-working Foreign Service officers, in fact, the entire staff of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. They have worked diligently, they have worked hard, they have been responsive, and I have been out there. Despite the accusations sometimes that I travel too much, it has not been travel in vain, or travel for reasons or purposes that were not designed to serve the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. And as they say, The proof of the pudding is in the eating. Since I have been foreign minister, since this government has been in office, we have transformed our foreign relations. We have sought to energize and reiterate the importance of better relations with our established allies and fostering new relations with allies, new allies, and perhaps countries that hitherto we did not have those relations with. And so, ladies and gentlemen, for example, we have been able, in the 3.5 years that we've been in office, to sign formal diplomatic relations with 25 new countries. That is amazing by any stretch of the imagination. 25 new countries in 3.5 years. We have, during that same period, signed visa-free arrangements with 14 new countries. That now means that the St. Kitts Nevis passport can take us, you and I, the holders of that passport, the proud holders of that passport, to over 150 countries and territories throughout the world without a visa. That is of tremendous value to us as we travel the world and as we enlarge our territory and as we expand our diplomatic footprint. Nevisians and Kittitians now can go to Russia, we can go to Brazil, we can go all over Western Europe, we can go to a lot of countries in Africa now, Kenya, Senegal, Ghana, Zambia, all of these countries, which hitherto required us to go through, in many cases, elaborate processes to spend money, send our passport to Washington or to New York to get a visa. Now, you close your eyes, you take a dart, you throw it on the globe, and wherever it lands, I can almost guarantee you, you can get there with our passport without having to go through the hassle and the cost of a visa. And we continue to work. In the next 2 weeks, God willing, we will be at the United Nations in New York. I have been assured by the team that whilst there, we're likely to do some more of that. And each country that grants us that privilege makes our passport more valuable. But more importantly, each country that grants us that privilege is saying to us that we as a country have confidence in the government and people of St. Kitts and Nevis. So, having met a situation where our relationship with established allies like the United States and Canada was at an all-time low, we had a lot of reparation to do. We had to repair that relationship. We had to work hard to bring it back together. And I'm delighted that this announcement by the United States is, in our view, a manifestation, clear evidence of the benefits of good diplomacy. Not shouting across the Caribbean Sea, not cussing and ranting and raving, but quiet, steady diplomacy, because diplomacy is based on trust. And we have always said that the difficulties that we suffered as a country on the diplomatic front were due to a breakdown of trust. And so now we are rebuilding that trust. Trust once lost is difficult to rebuild, but we're rebuilding that trust to the point where the United States feels comfortable saying that of all the 15 nations in the Caribbean, 4, including our beloved St. Christopher and Nevis, will be allowed visa interview waiver for the renewal of visas for those whose visas, would have expired in the last year. And so for us, it is absolutely, absolutely phenomenal that we continue in that vein, that we continue to work hard, and that we continue to say diplomacy matters. I will stop there and open the lines. It is 8:20. Take some calls on 869-469-1616, 869-469-1700. Let's go straight to the phones and take some calls. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Good evening, Ms. Sheriff.
Good evening, my dear. How are you?
Good evening, my premier. I'm good. Job 33, verse 31 and 32. Mark, well, O Job, hearken unto me. Hold thy peace, and I will speak. If thou hast anything to say, answer me. Speak, for I desire to justify thee. Speedy recovery is going out to my cousin over there in Canada. And hi to my nephew. God will see you through. Sympathy is going out to Mercy Jones and family on the passing of their mom, Enid Huggins from Cotton Ground. Sympathy is going out to the Parry family at Cotton Ground on the passing of their father, Nathaniel Mem Parry. Sympathy is going out to the Ferguson family at Bath Village and in St. Thomas on the passing of their mother, Alberta Ferguson. Sympathy is going out to the Kernan and Wade family in Nevis and in Florida on the passing of their mom, Dorothy Kernan, and her son passed away, Edson Kernan, in Florida. Speedily is going out to the Stanley family on the passing of their son. To God be the glory, great things he has done. Good night.
Thank you very much, and I always count on you on a weekly basis to remind us all of those who might have passed. And clearly, with all the names that you've mentioned, there are lots and lots of families that are mourning. I too want to join you in extending my condolences to those families that have lost loved ones, and to pray that they do not think that this is the end. They do not think that their mourning and their pain will last forever, because I think history has shown us, and the Bible tells us, it will not. I believe that this is an opportunity for us to turn to the great Comforter, because he has always comforted us, and he has always ensured that he does not give us more than we can bear. Death is always with us. Death is the inevitable end to which all of us will come. It is an appointment that we all have. And I just heard recently at the funeral ceremony for the Mitch Liebert, the son of Ian Patches Liebert, and Iris from Gingerland, from right there in Gingerland, that a beautiful tribute was done, eulogy was done by Dr. Henry Brown, QC. And one of the things he said, it perhaps is the most beautiful tribute that I have heard in modern times, but one of the things he said was that death starts with life. And it might strike you as odd when you say that, but from the moment we are born, we start to die. From the moment we are born, we are on a path to that inevitable end, that appointment that all of us expect to keep. And yet sometimes we wonder, why are we so vengeful and covetous, greedy, hate our neighbors, seek to do harm to others? Because at the end of the day, no matter how much money you have, the size of your house, the cars that you drive, the riches that you might possess, all of us are headed to the same place. And so it behooves us, as we live with the expectation of death, that we live our lives in such a way that we shine a light for others, that we help others, we be gentle and kind, we be our brother's keeper and our sister's helper. Because at the end of the day, life is not measured by the riches that we acquire, but by the service that we have given to our fellow men. And so, because we all know that death is our inevitable end, it behooves us all to live good lives. And that is what we must seek to do in our little Nevis and in our country of St. Kitts and Nevis. I want to extend my deep condolences to all of those who are suffering, and to let them know that our prayers continue to be with them, and that the prayers of the multitude will comfort them in their hour of bereavement. Let us go back to the phones and take some more calls. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Good evening, Honorable.
Good evening to you.
Gossip dies when it hits the ears of someone who possesses a high level of restraint, respect, and responsibility. I repeat, gossip dies when it hits the ears of someone who possesses a high level of restraint, respect, and responsibility. Have a great evening.
That. Now, I did promise at the top of the show that I would have an announcement. The 8 o'clock advisory for Tropical Storm Isaac has come. Let me just read for you what we have been sent by Mr. Brian Dyer, who is the head of our disaster management unit here in Nevis. As at 5 p.m. this afternoon, Tropical Storm Isaac, the winds were east-northeast at 29 to 38 miles per hour, with higher gusts occasionally beyond the 46 miles per hour. The Nevis Disaster Management Department has conducted an analysis of the weather forecast issued by the St. Kitts and Nevis Meteorological Services, which was issued at 5 p.m. And based on that risk analysis of the tropical storm force winds gusting beyond the 46 miles per hour, in addition to a slight northerly movement of Tropical Storm Isaac, they have made certain recommendations to us. We asked them to hold on that recommendation as we awaited the 8 p.m. update to determine if there was any change, and they have now responded to say that they've completed their analysis of the 8 p.m. intermediate advisory. There's little change in strength and slightly northerly track, which will bring it closer to the south of Nevis. That is less than 100 miles off the south coast. And so their recommendation remains the same. Based on that recommendation, the Cabinet of the Nevis Island Administration has taken the decision that schools and government offices will be closed tomorrow. The effects of Tropical Storm Isaac are likely to be felt from around 10 a.m. And so schools and government offices will be closed tomorrow on the island of Nevis. This is a precautionary measure. We are asking our people to be safe and be prepared. We feel that it's better to err on the side of caution, and we are inviting the private sector to do likewise, to ensure that their businesses and their staff are safe. Their safety and security should be paramount. But we can't control that. We're not declaring a public holiday. We're simply indicating that in the interest of the safety of our children and our teachers, and the interest of the safety of our government employees, that tomorrow, being the 13th day of September 2018, that our schools and our government offices will be closed. A formal notice will be issued very shortly. I believe the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of the Premier's Ministry is working on a notice, and the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, I believe, ought to have been activated as well to indicate to the principals and the various schools that we have taken the precautionary measure of closing schools tomorrow, September 13th, Thursday, September 13th, in order to avoid any potential for damage to our people. We are asking our people to be on alert and be prepared to listen to all announcements and to follow the instructions issued by the Nevis Disaster Management Unit. It is very important, ladies and gentlemen, that we stay safe. Notwithstanding that the storm has been downgraded to a tropical storm, the anticipation and the analysis done by our team is saying to us, the technical advice is saying to us, that we can still have gusts of 46 miles per hour and higher. And we do not wish to endanger particularly our children in our schools, our teachers in our schools, or our public servants that work for the government. We will be asking senior public servants, permanent secretaries, and senior staff to come in tomorrow to secure their offices. And we are asking the schools as well, the senior principals and staff of the schools, to ensure that the premises are secured. As we await Tropical Storm Isaac, we are told that we should start getting effects by 10 a.m., 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. And so we've taken this precautionary measure to err on the side of caution and ensure that our people are not exposed to any danger. We are imploring our people, the length and breadth of our island, from the highlands of Rollins to the foothills of Bath, please take precaution. Please listen and monitor our radio. Please ensure that we all remain safe. Above all, let us join hands and hearts and minds in prayer and ask for God's mercy and His grace tomorrow and the ensuing days, ensuing hours, as we expect that we should have the effects of this storm for several hours. So Tropical Storm Isaac, the decision taken after review of the 8 p.m. advisory is that schools and government offices will be closed tomorrow, and to encourage the private sector to do likewise to ensure that all of us on the island remain safe. Senior officials from the government and from the schools are asked to run out tomorrow early to ensure that their offices are secured. If they have any questions, I'm certain I will try to answer those questions. Today we had a briefing from Mr. Dyer, who is the head of our disaster management department, and he briefed the cabinet this morning at our usual Wednesday cabinet session. At the time, the forecast was far more favorable to Nevis, and we thought that we would not have needed, there would have been no need to close the schools or to close government offices. But after the 5 p.m. advisory, he did his analysis, and after the 8 p.m. advisory, he has confirmed that the advice from the Disaster Management Department is that we close schools and we close government offices tomorrow, and we brace for the impact of Tropical Storm Isaac from around 10 a.m. The northerly track, the slight turn to the north, means that the storm will come closer to Nevis, and he has anticipated that it will reach within 100 miles of our south coast. So please, ladies and gentlemen, let us be prepared. We expect, I'm told from the analysis done today, that we should expect about 1 inch of rain, so not overly wet in terms of the storm, but the wind gusts of up to 46 miles an hour is a matter for concern. And so we urge one and all, those who are on construction sites, etc., please exercise the necessary caution. Make sure that there are no loose boards and all that that can go flying. And let us pray that God spares us, and not only us, but he also spares our neighbors any damage. If there are any questions, of course, I'd be delighted to take those questions. It is now 20 minutes to the hour of 9 o'clock. We're going to go back to the phones. 869-469-1616, 869-469-1700. Those are the numbers to call in order for us to continue this conversation. And we're having one eye on the cricket. So for those of you who are wondering what's going on, the St. Kitts Nevis Patriots is in playoff 2, and they're now 64 for 3, chasing, how much are they chasing? They're chasing 192 that was made by the is it the Jamaicans? Yes, the Jamaicans have made 192, and we are chasing that. We're now 64 for 3, and it appears that we have already gone 10 overs. So we are not doing very well at all in terms of the run chase, and that seems to be the current position. So we'll see how that goes. It looks as if Christopher Gale might be out. Is he still batting? Let me see. I see them with a big celebration a moment ago. No, Christopher Gale is gone. We have 2 new batsmen, somebody called Allen and some called Devich or something. No idea who they are. So we'll see what happens. Ladies and gentlemen, this is On the Mark. We're discussing tropical storms. We're discussing cricket. That's the way it goes on the show. The numbers to call again are 869-469-1616, 869-469-1700, as we try to engage with you and to discuss anything that you might have in mind and that you would wish to obviously raise or put on the table. We have tonight made a report on the very, very good news from the United States that nationals of St. Kitts and Nevis living in St. Kitts and Nevis will no longer have to travel to Barbados to get a visa renewed if their visa has expired within the last 12 months. I saw one young lady who told me that this is perfect for her because hers just expired 3 months ago. So all that will happen now, you'll go online, you'll put in your information, and I'm told you'll send the passport to Barbados for the stamp, and you're good to go. And so that is a phenomenal, phenomenal savings of thousands of dollars to our people. Diplomacy matters. Good diplomacy matters. Hard work, rebuilding relationships matters. And I'm very pleased that the United States government, of all the countries in the Caribbean, has singled out these 4 for this special treatment. We thank them. We look forward to continued cooperation and work with the United States and our other allies as we strengthen the bonds of friendship and at the same time deepen and widen our diplomatic footprint. This for us is very important, and we must continue to do our very best to ensure that we get to where we need to be insofar as our standing in the world is concerned. We have said that next week we certainly have the United Nations, which starts the UNGA, as they call the United Nations General Assembly. That kicks off somewhere around the 23rd or thereabouts, and certainly a delegation from St. Kitts and Nevis will be there as usual, again, to advance the interests of St. Kitts and Nevis. That delegation will be led by the Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Timothy Harris. I should also report that the funeral service for Mr. Cedric Harper, His Excellency Cedric Harper, who was our High Commissioner to Jamaica for many years, who was a principal here at the Gingerland Secondary School. I'm told that's what it was called at the time, that he was there. I felt that Cedric Harper was somebody that I knew very well since I was a little boy, because my mother always used to talk about Cedric Harper. Well, he regrettably has passed away after a long illness, and he'll be laid to rest in Jamaica, his adopted land of Jamaica, next week, Saturday. And so I hope to be there as Minister of Foreign Affairs and as the person for whom he worked, in the sense of how the ministry that I supervise, he worked as a High Commissioner in that ministry, that will be there to say a few words and certainly to extend condolences to his entire family, to his sisters and Adora Stevens, to his other relatives here, and to all the hundreds of Nivisians and others whose lives he would have touched. One Jamaican friend of mine, a lawyer, wrote that Cedric Harper is the reason why he became a lawyer and why he has become the man that he is, because of the encouragement and the constant assurance and upliftment that Cedric Harper provided to him. Cedric Harper, of course, was warden on Irving Hall for very, very many years at the University of the West Indies at the Mona campus, and many divisions and Kititians found succor, found support, found shelter at Irving Hall because of him. And so we extend our condolences to his family, and we look forward to being there to send him off, if you will. He has really served his country with distinction. So Mr. Cedric Harper, his funeral will be next week. Yesterday, as we were talking about funerals, I want to publicly commend the Brownhill management team, who put on yesterday a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving service for the life and times of Mr. Levine, Euclid Levine Sr., better known to all of us as Crib, who was from Brownhill but passed away in New York, where he lived. Crib had a long battle with cancer, and finally he lost that battle, but he fought bravely to the end. And last night it touched my heart, it really touched my heart, to see the scores of Brownhillians and others who came to the Hard Court in Brownhill to pay homage and pay tribute and give thanks for having known him, and to give comfort to the family. I'm told that Mildred and the others would have left today to go to New York for the funeral. I wish them safe travels, and certainly pray and hope that we continue to have more like Crib, more people who are passionate about what they do, passionate in their love for family and love for country. And so he will be laid to rest, I'm told, on the 14th, which I believe is this Saturday in New York. And as many Nivisians as possible out there, I'm praying and hoping that you will go and pay your respects and embrace the family and let them know that we love them, we loved Crib, and we shall miss him. Ladies and gentlemen, this is On the Mark. I'm your host, Mark Brantley. We've opened our lines for any calls, 869-469-1616, 869-469-1700. Just to remind those who are listening and viewing that on the advice of the head of the Disaster Management Department, Mr. Brian Dyer, having reviewed the 5 o'clock advisory and the 8 p.m. intermediate advisory on Tropical Storm Isaac, the Cabinet has accepted the recommendation that schools and government offices tomorrow will be closed. We are, however, asking senior officials to come in to secure the premises, and we hope that the offices will be secured. We are encouraging the private sector to do likewise to ensure that the public is protected and that we minimize any possibility for any member of the public to be hurt in any way. Let us continue to be prudent, let us continue to be safe, let us continue to be prepared and to err on the side of caution, and let us above all continue to pray for God's grace and His mercy. This is On the Mark. We are waiting some calls. The phones aren't ringing tonight as they normally would be, but if that is the case, then I will take a deep breath and I will soldier on. A lot has been happening here on the island of Nevis. Of course, once we do our monthly press conference, I want to apologize to the general public that there will be no press conference this month of September. That is largely due to the fact that the month is a short month. We have, of course, the the situation where we're going to have not only National Heroes Day, we're also going to have Independence Day. They're all holidays, and so we have a very short month in the circumstances. And then I have, as I've explained, to travel for the funeral of His Excellency Cedric Harper, and also to travel to the United Nations in my role as Foreign Minister for St. Kitts and Nevis to continue the good work that we've been doing of building relationships. And so I'll be out, but I'm advised that we will have the press conference on the 2nd of October. And we are likely to perhaps do 2 in October if necessary, because we want to keep that commitment to the people that every month the Premier will come and update and be questioned by the press. It's an innovation we've introduced. I think that it has gone well. It has allowed the press and the public an opportunity to ask the questions, to get answers. Of course, I'm also here every Wednesday, God willing, and again, that gives an opportunity to interact, to ask questions, and to give answers. And that is part and parcel of our pledge to be a transparent and open government. And so we continue to live up to our words and to ensure that we continue on this path of a better Nevis for all. Let's go to the phones. No, we've lost that caller. Caller, we're asking you to call back, please. 469-1616, 469-1700. Let's go to the phones and take this call. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Night, Mr. Brantley.
Good evening to you. Could you raise your voice, please? I'm not hearing.
Brantley.
Yes, good evening.
It's not only Mildred and them brother and sister. Our brother Crib he was everybody in a broad hill. I'm going to say the Navy. Because who Crib don't look after, who he didn't know. He was a good man. He was a good man. The last time we spoke, he said, Rodney, just come here, Jolie in the hospital. And I come to look for Jolie. Jolie, you think? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then he left and went back, and I couldn't believe that he would have never come back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He was a good man.
Well, yes, go ahead.
Yeah, and I really appalled to the Brown Hill people. But you could have seen it, Mark, and the crowd of people who were there, that what kind of person he was. He was a good man. And when he tip you big. Have a good evening, Mark.
All right, well, thanks a lot for that. Yes, I think we can all with one accord say he was a good man. I don't know about the tips, but I do know that whenever I heard, my man, he used to have a still stamp, my man, I know the Crib was in the house, because that's what he always called me, you know, my man, you know. I had a joke over at this service, because I said that Crib was from Budgeon Range, and they said that Crib tried to rename Budgeon Range Manchester Avenue. So he came from New York and he put up a sign saying this is now Manchester Avenue. They say soon as he turned it back, them fellas take down the sign. So Crib came and put it back up. Soon as he turned it back again, them fellas take it back the sign. Nobody gonna rename Budgeon Range, you know. So I thought it was quite interesting. And the question that we all ask and continue to ask is how did a man from Budgeon Range become a Jew? Because Crib ended his life as an adherent to the Jewish faith and always flew the flag of the State of Israel. So that's interesting. And just a little note before we take the call, that after the service, that Charlene Huggins came up to me and she said, in fact, that Crib is in fact Jewish, Levine, and that there were 5 Jewish sisters who gave birth to these 5, if you will, sets of the family, including her own. Because we often ask what happened to the Jewish community in Nevis, because the history book suggests that at one point we had over 2,000 Jews in Nevis. And one philosopher said to me, one scholar said to me, the Jews might still be here. And so Crib, in fact, his mother was Jewish. So it's an interesting thing. Let's go back to the phones and take some more calls. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Good evening. Who the lady the baby in attack? Don't last me here.
If you don't know last you hear him, that means you know who it is.
Me no know, me just ask.
All right, me dear. You take care. Okay, the Patriots are now 104 for 3 of 12.2 overs. They're really batting well all of a sudden and are scoring prolifically. Let's see if that continues. All right, I need to get to 192. We go back to the phones, take some more calls. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Good evening, Premier.
Good evening to you.
I want to publicly thank the ECCB Bank for still having blind and visually impaired persons on their mind I remember a few years ago I was called by a worker from the bank concerning some bank notes and what they can put on it to resemble cricket, because cricket is a part of the Caribbean. They tried, but the dots, like doing dots and different things for bats and balls and caps, and so the paper, the money was too soft. So even though the indentations were there, it was not beneficial to us. But now that they are changing the banknotes, I say kudos to them. Blind persons can now recognize the monies when they touch them, because it would not like be with braille. That you can't, because many blind persons around here don't really use braille.
Why is that, though? Why is that? Is that not taught?
Not anymore. Once ago, like in the days of the blind school up here and so. And some persons don't really have the interest because there are other things to accommodate them. And so I'm very grateful to them on behalf of the blind and visually impaired. And I also want to thank persons from the bank to the bus drivers, especially one of them who I usually drive with. I could ask them, what is this, what is that? Even if I have my money in order from the bank, I can say, what is this? Is this a $10 or so? You say, yeah. But Mr. Brantley, I'm going to say this publicly. We're still in a sad way. One time I was on the bus, and when I got up, the person didn't tell me what I told my daughter. Say, your mother asked about the money, and a young man sitting behind me said, should I tell her something else? But you know why I admire that young man? For many things, but this, the same person would have still go and say, he robbed Jennifer Freeman, I don't know. Because instead he tell her 20, he tell her it's a 10. You get where I'm coming from?
Sure.
So sometimes when you got to tell us what you got to tell us, you put us good. We're not vexed with you. Once you come in straight and good, we're going to go ahead with that. So I want to thank them again, and that it will make our lives a lot easier. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, thank you for that, and I'm happy, and I continue to say that you've been and continue to be a tremendous advocate for people who are visually impaired. And I think that that is something that we ought to celebrate, because your passion, your dedication to assist those who have that impairment is really commendable. Yes, the central bank is talking about changing notes to accommodate various interest groups, and I think that that's a good thing. It is also, as you talk about honesty, it is something that clearly we continue to encourage and continue to pray that our people really remember the lessons of the past, the lessons of old. You know, there's a lot of negativity in our society, but I continue to maintain that the vast majority, not just the majority, the vast majority of our people are good and decent people. Hardworking, want the best for their children, want good schools, etc. Decent and hardworking people. And I want to commend the people out there. I used the example just recently of how during Juve morning my money fell out of my pocket. My money fell out of my pocket, and an amount of cash. And they say cash doesn't have any owner. But quarter from down Hanley's Road brought the money and said, Mr. Brantley, this fell out of your pocket. And I said, I called his name publicly. As I said last week, I hope I don't embarrass him, because I know he's a humble fella. He doesn't like the limelight. But I use that just to demonstrate that there are good, decent people among us, the majority of us. Somebody else might have said, oh, let me take the money, I find it on the road. But he said, no, this dropped out of your pocket, and he brought it back to me. And I think that for me just, it kind of reaffirms my faith in the people of Nevis. You know, today I was, my wife has some relatives in Barbados, and they have a chat. And one of them is a businessman. He operates a dive shop. And today he said he found a Rolex watch. A Rolex watch costs maybe 10, 15,000 US dollars and up. And he turned that Rolex watch in to the watchman at the, well, I don't mean any pun when I say watchman, to the guard. Let me use that. He turned the watch into the guard at the facility. And you look at that, I mean, that's really what we need to do. If you go to the bank and the teller inadvertently gives you more money than you're entitled to, take it back. Take it back. Let us once again encourage our children to do the right things, and I think we'll be a better society. I think the phones are ringing. I don't know. Yes, let me take this call. Good evening. You're on the mark.
Good evening, Mr. Brantley.
Good evening to
Brantley.
you, my friend. Good evening.
I'm not a politician, but...
You're not, man. You usually sound like one.
Oh, well, boy, you know how it is. But I'm beginning to appreciate how politics work.
Yes.
Okay? I'm sure it was a politician who said, in politics, truth don't count, only perception. And so I fully understand the temptation to claim credit, even if it's not deserved, especially if in the euphoria of the moment, you can get away with it. The Prime Minister was on one of our talk shows on Monday, and I called in to say pretty much the same thing, that this claim that it was the work of his government was predictable, right? The Prime Minister responded by raising the proverbial straw man. He accused me of that one, so I remembered. He basically said that if the government of Grenada could celebrate the granting of visa interview waiver, well, we could too. But that was not the issue I raised with him, okay? Of course we should celebrate it, right? It would save a lot of our citizens, well, certainly some of our citizens, money, and that's a good thing, okay? My concern was that, bearing in mind how the U.S. State Department works, bearing in mind what Nikki Haley, the U.S. ambassador to the UN, openly stated, that countries that seemed hostile to the U.S. will pay a price. I couldn't help but think that this was a U.S. ploy to divide the OECS into the countries that it has a beef with and those that it don't. We know that the U.S. have a running dispute with Antigua, and we know that St. Vincent and Dominica, I think they refused on principle to side with the U.S. to expel Venezuela from the OAS. And so, we're not surprised that they weren't included. I mean, when you look, for instance, at the percentage overstays that Antigua have for persons who have visas and went to the U.S., it's the lowest in the OECS, right? So any other rationale defies.
But what's the point you're raising, caller? Because you're telling me why Antigua them did not get it. I want to know what is the issue in relation to St. Kitts and Nevis celebrating.
What I'm saying,
yes.
Right? I pointed out that the FinCEN's advisory has not been lifted.
Yes,
right?
that is true.
Yeah, it hasn't, and that was the key thing. I guess we're going to have to abandon our CBI or put pressure on our colleagues in the OECS to toe the U.S. line in order to get that done, right? And I know we're small, but I think we use our small size and vulnerability to justify too many things.
But caller, let me ask you. You say the FinCEN. That's a good starting point.
Yeah.
You think the U.S. government was justified in the FinCEN advisory that they issued in light of the fears that they expressed?
No, I didn't think so.
Okay. Do you think Canada...
Simply because, right? But first of all, we designed our CBI with our interests in mind, not the U.S. interests, or Canada, or the EU for that matter, right? We took a risk. I know it was a risk. But we know that we would not have sold anywhere near the numbers of passports that we sold if we hadn't done if we hadn't organized our CBI in that way. We have no problem enjoying the money.
But no,
right?
caller, let us not, because you started out talking about facts and perception. So let us try and deal with the facts. Okay? You mentioned we would not have sold. I don't know where you're getting that information from, because the CBI was doing quite well, the SIDF was doing quite well. In fact,
not before they made those changes to it. Before that, we never
that is not
CBI.
accurate. As a matter of fact, the proof of the pudding is always in the eating. We would now need to look at the numbers since we have reinserted our place of birth and our previous names
and
back into the document.
And reduced our fees.
Well, we have reduced the fees, yes, but we have done that in the face of widespread competition, which didn't exist back then. But the reality now is that the numbers are once again very much on par with the heyday of the CBI program.
Okay.
I say that to say this. We are not to seek to suggest to the public, as you are suggesting, that somehow we design this in the interest of St. Kitts and Nevis and others be damned. Because everything that we do in the context of international relations, there is a cause and effect. St. Kitts and Nevis decided that they will remove the field, the place of birth from our passport. They will remove any previous names. That created a nightmare for other countries in terms of identity of individuals holding our passport. So, for example, if Mark Brantley was hitherto Mark Williams, or let's say Anthony Williams, the change that was made by the federal government then allowed me to get a St. Kitts Nevis passport with a new name, Anthony Williams, no reference to the fact that I was known as Mark Brantley, and did not put where I was from. So when I came to the United States or wherever and presented this passport, you had a situation where obviously this passport now will be saying Anthony Williams, citizen of St. Kitts and Nevis. That's all. Doesn't have with it any indication of where I was born. And so critical bits of information that were required were removed. Now, some say it was good for business for St. Kitts and Nevis, but good for business for whom? Let's think about it. Who among us would want to disguise the fact that they were born in Sandy Point or they were born in Basti, as the case may be? So we were out there, and that is what Canada identified. Canada said lax identity practices was what led them to remove our visa. And it wasn't a blanket removal for all of the Caribbean. They removed it for us. Cause and effect. Our bilateral relations were damaged because of a decision that we took. Similarly, just let me finish. Okay. Similarly, the United States said that people were abusing our system to avoid sanctions that they'd placed on Iran. Again, cause and effect. A breakdown in our bilateral relationship. Now the United States has said to us, listen, we are going to allow this privilege to the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis, which all of us can say is beneficial to our people. The debate that has been raging is whether the unity government should get any credit for doing that. Well, the same way that the previous government's decision damaged the bilateral relationships and had consequences which were adverse to our people, similarly, if we have taken actions as a government to change course and to repair those bilateral relationships to the point now where we're getting some benefit for our people, then you have to praise or celebrate the government for its effort, because these are the fruits of steadfast diplomacy that you see now at work. What is the difficulty with that?
So St. Lucia and Grenada,
yes,
inclusion in this is just a coincidence, you're saying?
St. Lucia and Grenada, I cannot speak to what they have been doing. What I will say to you is that I know that Prime Minister Alan Shaston has been working very closely with the United States. He has close links there. St. Lucia, if you recall, had its own difficulties because they had been accused of extrajudicial killings, and so they had their own problems. So clearly they would have had to overcome some hurdles there as well. Grenada has always had a special relationship with the United States. As a matter of fact, I didn't even know that U.S. has a consul in Grenada, whereas the rest of us can only deal with Barbados. The U.S. had not an ambassador, but a consul in Grenada. So Grenada, since the days of the invasion, have always had a special relationship. And Barbados was the fourth country. So 4 of us have been selected, and we, caller, can sit here and speculate all night about why the State Department did what it did.
Yes, but
right?
I mean, you're versed in foreign policy and that sort of thing, right? I mean, can you really sit here and think that other considerations didn't come into into play when the U.S. made this decision?
Well, caller, I'm certain a number of considerations will come into play. I don't think that any country, including our own, makes decisions based on maybe 1 or 2, but multiple considerations. We look at the benefits, we look at the potential pitfalls, and we come to a decision. What I will say to you is that it is tangible evidence that the relationship is much better than it was. We, in the next few days, are going to be having a further meeting on this FinCEN advisory. and we feel that we're going to see some movement there as well.
Okay,
Just today I got a report.
That would be good news.
Just today I got a report from Canada. We feel that we're going to see some movement there as well. Now, I can't guarantee, because clearly I am not the Canadian or the United States government. What I can say to you is that we've continued to engage. Even sometimes it's frustrating. And we say to them, well, what more do we need to do? We understand that it takes time. Trust once lost takes time to rebuild. But
you realize, though, Mr.
Yes.
Brantley, right, that despite the concerns expressed about our the holders of our passports,
yes,
the numbers of people that they had a problem with were relatively small. You'd find that you'd have more problems with people going through the regular banking system than through our CBI. So, and they were the ones who were doing the due diligence checks, their firms, right? And there again, and that's what raises my suspicions about what they were trying to do.
But caller, listen.
Remember, right? They always it's always good to go after the leader, eh? And we were the leader in the CBI then, right? And
we're still the leader.
They'd love to make it. They love
but
the fact that they made an example.
But we're still the leader now. And the concerns about CBI remain, because even this benefit that has been bestowed, they have exempted CBI passport holders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They have said if you're CBI, if you got it through CBI, then this exemption doesn't apply to you.
When you would have thought that since it was supposedly cleaned up, they would have, they would have been more amenable.
Well, again, caller, we do not dictate to these countries what they do. They have their own policy.
Precisely.
And I remember.
That's my point.
I remember the first thing.
As I normally say, the U.S. don't have friends; they have interests.
Well, and all of us, because as I recall, the first thing I learned about diplomacy, having no training in diplomacy, having been asked by the Prime Minister to lead this ministry, they say all diplomacy is about self-interest. All diplomacy is about self-interest.
Exactly.
And we need to appreciate that when we deal with countries and countries deal with us, it's about self-interest. So
and don't use our small size as a reason not to have a principled foreign policy.
Well, but
right? Try to. I mean, wouldn't it be nice if, for instance, you would lobby on the part of Antigua and Dominica for their inclusion? That would be a nice.
But caller, I think those conversations have happened, and I can assure you that those conversations will continue to happen. Okay. But Dominica has a foreign minister, Antigua has a foreign minister, and they too would have to do their part. And sometimes, I mean, for example, I heard some comments that came out of a radio program in Antigua, and it would not be something that I would have done, because some of the commentators went on the attack to cuss out the U.S. It is not something that I would have done, but
they don't treat Antigua fairly. The World Trade Organization, they had a ruling on that. Instead, they pay the people their money.
Caller, we understand all that, but again, diplomacy is sometimes a frustrating business. When, for example, St. Kitts Nevis lost their visa-free access to Canada, Antigua continued to enjoy that access, right?
Yeah.
And benefited from the enjoyment of that access through their CBI program, right? That's the reality. When we entered into CBI, we were the first. Other countries came on board. They slashed the prices, and therefore offering a much cheaper product to the market than we were. They took business away from us as a result. So, it's important that we have solidarity and that we come together as a region. But we also have, within the region, practices which pit us against each other in terms of competing.
You don't think that's unfortunate?
Well, but go back to what I said. All diplomacy is about self-interest. So my job as the Foreign Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis is to promote the interests and to build the relationships on behalf of St. Kitts and Nevis. Does that mean that I try to damage my neighbor? No. But my primary responsibility has to be to my people who I'm elected to serve.
That's why the integration movement is not going to go anywhere.
Well, I don't know if it's not going to go anywhere. I think the integration movement has gone a long way.
Things like this, right?
Well, no, caller, I don't agree with you. You can now go to Antigua.
How will it move forward?
You can now go to Antigua and drive on your St. Kitts Nevis driver's license. If you land in Antigua, you get 6 months automatically in the country. If they come here, same thing. They come here now, they work, take up any job without a work permit. Those are tangible.
One step forward, 2 steps backward.
Well, how is that 2 steps backward in your view?
Well, I mean, okay, sure, you can go there and drive.
You can go there and work.
And work.
You can go there and live. You can go there and buy land. How is that backwards?
Yeah, but you now saying that, well, it's good that we got this special treatment from the U.S. and boy, too bad. You see about your own affairs.
Well, let me ask you. Well, let me ask you something. Let me ask you something, caller. When Canada took their visa-free access from St. Kitts and Nevis, and Antigua still had it, you ever heard anybody from Antigua go out and say we don't want it unless you give back St. Kitts and Nevis?
That's not a reason not to do the right thing.
No, but you're talking about the right thing. I'm saying as countries, you go out and you develop relationships. So if Antigua has a better relationship with Canada than we had at the time, I'm to tell Antigua, listen, you should not get benefits from Canada. You should argue that St. Kitts Nevis get the same benefit or you don't want it. I mean, that is a fairy tale.
You know, Mr. Brantley,
yes.
That's the thing about our modern leaders, right? Hello?
Yes, I'm listening to you.
That's the thing about, we expected so much from them. The new generation of university-trained, well, I don't think, you didn't go to university in the Caribbean, did you?
Yes, I went to University of West Indies.
Okay, right. And that's how I think, for some reason, the regional university has failed us. They didn't develop the kind of camaraderie and stick-togetherness and stick-to-itiveness that is necessary.
So, caller, let me, because other people are calling. Yeah, so let me just,
I guess so. Yeah.
Let me just ask you before you leave. So you're saying that St. Kitts and Nevis should refuse a benefit?
No.
What are you saying?
I'm saying that you should have lobbied. You all could have lobbied together.
And having lobbied together, the U.S. says, listen, these are the countries that we feel that we want to bestow this benefit on. We should say what?
Then you can't do anything about that.
Okay. All right. Let's leave it there. Thank you. It is 9:15 o'clock. We're going to take some more calls. We have anybody holding? No? Just to remind the general public that tomorrow, on the advice of the Disaster Management Department here on the island of Nevis, we have decided as a cabinet that schools will be closed and that government offices will be closed. We are asking senior officials to come in to secure the offices. We are also encouraging the private sector to do likewise and to assist in that regard. So we are calling on the private sector. Of course, our emphasis is ensure that everyone is safe. I'm just here staring at the television, which is off to my left, to bring to you. We just lost another wicket, the Patriots, but it seems like we are doing well. We might be able to win this match if somebody can hold on, because we have 158 for 5 with 3.5 overs left. We need to get to 192. So we need about 30, 35, 40 runs. Oh, this one looks like he's out. Straight up in the air. Oh, my goodness. Even Mark Brantley could have played a better shot than that. The keeper takes the catch. 158 for 6. What can I say? One thing I know. Cricket, I don't get heart attack over cricket anymore. Not me. Let's think about the big concert on Sunday night. Happening right here in Nevis. We're going to have a massive concert. Steel Pulse and Third World on the same stage, along with Speedy, Dijon, Byron Messiah, Ripper HD, and the man Daily Ranks, hosted by none other than Sugar Bowl. And DJ Woodis is going to be in the mix. And we're going to be at the Cultural Village. We expect thousands of people to be there. I asked for 10,000. They tell me that we may get even that from St. Kitts coming over. So it looks like it's going to be a huge crowd. It's a kind of music, I think, that all of us, young and old, those who are Christians, those who are not perhaps practicing, everybody can come out. It is conscious music. It is uplifting music. The theme is one Nevis, one federation, one love. We're asking people, reminding people to wear their national colors, please, to ensure that we show our patriotism. And we want to see a sea of national colors, St. Kitts and Nevis on display, a patriotic concert this concert will also be a tribute to Steve Grizzly Nisbet from Bikil, who was the original drummer for Steel Pulse. So we look forward to this massive concert right here in Nevis at the Cultural Village. I know of people coming from St. Croix, from Antigua, from Anguilla, and we're inviting people from the other islands as well to come and be a part of this. The OACS Bar Association is having their massive meeting in St. Kitts, and we've invited all of them as well to come over and be a part of this historic concert happening right here in Queen City, Nevis. It's going to be the biggest event that you would have seen in St. Kitts and Nevis in the last several years. A massive event, one stage, one night. Steel Pulse, Third World, Ripper HD, Byron Messiah, Dijon, Deli Ranks, Speedy, Sugar Bowl hosting, and DJ Woodies providing entertainment in between. Let's go to the phones and take some more calls. Good evening, you're on the mark. Hello?
Hi, good evening, Mr. Barney.
Yes, good evening to you.
I would like to send my best wishes to the family of Crib, my man, as he always says, and I'm hoping that Nevis will have a lot more people like Crib. He was a man that always liked to help those who in need, and he was also a person that liked to donate to sports, as they have done with the cricket that I had up at hard times. So we're wishing the family all the best, just as my as I did to Raul Rascab while I was in England, and at the same time both of us lost a brother, and just like my brother, Crib will be missed, and the whole of Nevis will mourn for both of them. My brother went about doing his thing quietly, contributing to the community, and Crib did his bit as well. So thank God for both of them life. Mark, continue doing what you're doing. You're doing a good job, and not let nobody make you go off course.
Thank you, brother. And I hope that the whole of Rollins will be at the concert on Sunday, God willing, and at the park, of course, on Wednesday of next week for the independence ceremony. And of course also, how could I forget, at the cocktail ceremony, which for this year, we feel very good about it, that we will be having that cocktail back at Government House under the auspices of Her Honor Hailita Liebert, our beloved Deputy Governor General. So we look forward to welcoming all to the Government House, which is even now undergoing the necessary work to ensure it's in a state of readiness. I want to thank the contractors who are there working through the night to ensure that all is ready, and we certainly look forward to that experience, which really we have all been looking forward to for a long time, in terms of having the Government House back in some usable state. We would have met it as a government shuttered and dilapidated and rotten, and we have spent quite some time painstakingly trying to restore it, and so this gives us a golden opportunity to see it. So next Wednesday evening, God permitting, we will be at the Government House to celebrate cocktails with Her Honor, and under the patronage and auspices of Her Honor Hailita Liebert, our Deputy Governor General. And so we certainly look forward to that. So ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot that's happening, but we'll kick it off on Sunday night with our National Heroes concert. Steel Pulse, Third World, one stage, one night. Come on out, one Nevis, one Federation, one love. Wear your national colors. The concert is free. Free, free. So bring everybody. Grandma, bring her. Grandpa, bring him. Mommy and daddy, bring them. Babies, bring them. Bring everybody. Let's all hold hands and be together. One love in our country. The numbers again to call: 869-469-1616, 869-469-1700. We have about 40 minutes left, so we're going to take as many calls as we can during that period of time. Now, a bit of news. Today, the police, Royal St. Christopher Nevis Police Force, would have reported that they did a search in the area of Keys in St. Kitts and were able to recover, I'm told, some 6 firearms and a considerable amount of ammunition. And I really want to commend our police force. They work under very difficult and very trying circumstances, And today was a phenomenal day for them to take 6 firearms in one go off the streets of St. Kitts and Nevis. We now have the capability to do the necessary ballistics testing, so I'm hopeful that that ballistics testing will lead them to be able to solve other crimes if, of course, any of those firearms was used in the commission of any crimes. And so I really look forward to getting even better news of crimes being resolved as a consequence of this tremendous find by the police today. So I want to commend our police force. I want to commend the leadership on what they continue to do and to continue to encourage them to work hard. 3 persons, I'm told, are in custody and are assisting in investigation, and the police have recovered 6 firearms, we're told, 2.45 pistols, 2.40 pistols, 1 9mm pistol, and 1 .38 revolver, in excess of 250 rounds of assorted ammunition. So, great work by the police. May our people continue to cooperate with and assist our police. These guns, every gun taken off the street makes us safer. And as I said, I do not know if these guns might have been involved in some criminal activity, but certainly we now, through the investment of this government, have the capability to test and to find out. And so we pray and hope that this continues and that the police continue from strength to strength to confront the scourge of criminality in some quarters in our society. And so congratulations to them, and we hope that the village of Keys, the island of St. Kitts, and the wider Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis is safer tonight because of the work of our police force. Kudos, Commissioner Creeley and your team. May you continue from strength to strength. These are the results that we're looking for as a government and as a people, and so I'm very pleased to hear that. Ladies and gentlemen, just again to remind the general public, those who might have just tuned in, that on the advice of the Nevis Disaster Management Department, we have opted, the Cabinet of the Nevis Island Administration has decided to close schools and government offices tomorrow. And so we regret any inconvenience caused, of course, but we are dedicated to and interested in preserving the safety and security of our people. We expect wind gusts of up to 48 miles per hour and some rain tomorrow. The effects, we are told, should start at about 10 a.m. We are asking senior officials to turn out early tomorrow to secure the offices, and of course thereafter we hope that our people will remain safe throughout the day as we ensure that we have no injuries, loss of life or property. Please continue to be vigilant. Please continue to be aware. We are grateful to God that the storm has lessened in terms of its ferocity. It is no longer a hurricane. It is a tropical storm, but we all know that tropical storms can also do damage. So please let us remain vigilant and let us be prepared. So that decision was taken this evening, and we have conveyed that decision. I believe it has already gone out through the proper channels, the appropriate government channels, but I thought since I was here that I would raise it as well. Our lines are open, 869-469-1616. Let's go back to the phones. Good evening, you're on the mark. Hello?
Hello, Mark?
Yes, you're on the mark. Go ahead.
It's a Bushman you attack.
Yes.
Hey, where will be on a water pipe?
It doesn't have any water pipe?
I said, well, if I don't have any pipe.
Uh-huh.
So you get a pipe over the body, at the mirror with the body can go water.
Uh-huh.
I went out them Monday afternoon at catch water. That is me.
Mm-hmm.
When I was there, I see a weekly pass up the path. But weekly I'll come pass up there, so I'm not really been a check pan so much so deep. So I take the week to somebody, some person. So when I look at some pass, what is it possible I've been checked? I look at the guy only can't nobody check. So me I check what happened to go look back again. When I look back, it come look at me and he come back on the path. But when me there, me hear somebody I direct the fella where me live. Do I listen me?
What am I directing by you for?
I don't know. I don't know. I put a man, so a fella beg me. I beg a fella put a hand on me, but he don't know what. Even the door, you direct come that he get put a hand on your door, and the door don't paint. And me right there catch water, and me listen. Me say, what you listen on me? That a Monday that happened. Monday night, me, I sit down to me door. Me kind of little. Me not really want to come in and lie down and say, when I miss the sleep by your night. Me, about minutes to 8 early after me there. Well, certain, I look over here that with the direction of, you direct the person when me live. Me till I kind of keep up me eye, and I listen. When me then, me hear certain, look at certain talking. So me say, you see why I am? You see why I am? Me done 74 years. And you see what me here? Me not trouble nobody. Okay. Afterwards, good time. Afterwards, I hear him talking. I say, but what? You know, you should have waited till you go sleep. Just look at you. You are listening?
I listen you.
Huh?
Yes, I'm listening you.
This today I went to town. When I got town, I hear a woman. I tell somebody, if he not been ball out Monday night, did I kill him? Yeah, that's a Monday night. Sure me, I'm in trouble nobody. I tell you, I see you when you're directly for that.
So you called in on the radio, have you called the police and told the police all of this?
Mark, that's okay, when me call police, them not come back. So me don't know what to do, me just say, them tell them all kind of thing, them all let come with me there.
All right, well,
call you, see what happened.
Well, you have called and you've told the whole of Nevis what has happened. I just would like that you make a formal report to the police so that they know as well.
Okay. Well, I tell them, here the door, yesterday morning, yesterday I get up, I tell the so. You're going to tell nobody that the door won't paint again. You tell you what color you can. I get to work to put a beer some paint here.
And you paint the door?
Huh?
And you paint the door?
Yeah, I said, nobody tell them the door won't paint. I didn't tell you what color paint on them.
All right, my brother. Okay.
Huh?
All right. Well, I think we've heard you. Okay? All right. Take care. Well, we're here and it looks like the Patriots are in some trouble. 177 for 7 with only 5 balls left. They need to get, let me see by my tally, 16 runs. I don't think they'll be able to achieve that, but we'll see. We'll see whether or not they can do it. Jamaica, you know, one big over, 2 or 3 sixes and they're home. Let's see. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to On the Mark. We're watching television. We're talking to you. We're watching cricket. We're having a conversation with you. It is 9:28 in the evening. It means that we have roughly another 32 minutes, so we have ample time for you to call in and share your views. Again, the numbers are 869-469-1616, 869-469-1706, 183 for 7. We now need an additional 10 runs in order to win this game. Let's see what's going to happen. It's going to 2020 cricket is an interesting form of cricket. I think that the man batting is the chap Brathwaite, who has hit 3 or 4 sixes in a match once, back to back to win. So let's see if he can do it again tonight. It would be good, certainly, for our Patriots to advance. It would be a good independence gift for St. Kitts and Nevis for us to finally win this trophy that we have been fighting for so long. So that is the current position, the state of play. Oh, looks like the man is out. Yep. Looks like Brathwaite is gone. So, oh my goodness gracious. It's an interesting thing here. We're now 183 for 8. We have 3 balls to go, and we need 10 runs. Is that going to be possible? I don't know. These tail enders are not so sure what they're capable of doing, but we keep hitting the ball in the same direction, and the captain of Jamaica has taken 3 or 4 catches in the same place. I sound like a cricket commentator, and that is not why I'm here. But of course, lovely cricket is a passion here in the island of Nevis, and certainly the Patriots, we're all passionate and supportive of the St. Kitts Nevis Patriots. It's 9:30 in the evening. The Patriots are fighting for their life. They need 10 runs from 3 balls. Will they make it? A 6 and a 4 will do very nicely. But of course, we're now down to the very wire. We only have 2 wickets left. We'll see what happens. Ladies and gentlemen, this is On the Mark. Just again, to remind one and all that tomorrow schools are closed. Government offices will be closed because of the threat of Tropical Storm Isaac. That is the advice that we have received as a cabinet and have accepted from the Nevis Disaster Management Department. And so we'll continue to monitor very closely as we move forward. Yep, that looks like a wide that they have just bowled there. So the Patriots now need 9 runs from 3 balls. Wide just delivered by Jamaica. So let's see, a couple more wides, a couple byes. I would take I'll take them even a no ball. However they come, I will take them. We need 9 runs. Let's see if that's going to be possible to get 9 runs from 9 runs from 3 balls. With pure tail enders now, we have people there who can't even bat as good as me, who will be the ones who can take us home and see where that goes. Oh, another wide again. Oh, goodness gracious. 8 runs now from 3 balls. I would take them in all wides. I don't mind that at all. So 8 runs from 3 balls. This is getting very interesting. Jamaica has just bowled 2 wides on the trot. So we can see how that goes. It's an interesting time here. It's what they call it now, tantimol in the oval here. It's tension in the place. And we're watching very carefully to see where it goes. We have 3 balls, 8 runs, 1 6, 1 4, it's all over. 2 4s, it's all over. Let's see what the St. Kitts Nevis Patriots can do. As I said, great gift for our National Heroes Day, National Heroes Night. We know where we are going to be. We're going to be in Charlestown at the Cultural Village for Steel Pulse and Third World. Let's see what's going to happen with this match, because it's going to be rather interesting to see how it all ends. 2 wides from Jamaica. I don't mind if they bowl some more wides, some no balls. Whatever it is they bowl, get us there. 8 runs from 3 balls. It is tension in the oval here at Von Radio. Interesting times. Here we go. Oh, wide again. Wide again. 186. And that one is another wide. 3 wides on a trot. We now need 7 from 3. And this bowler is certainly working with the Patriots. He looked like he's the 12th man for the Patriots, bowling 3 wides on a trot, one after the other, and the Patriots now need 7 runs from 3 balls. This is turned into a ball-by-ball commentary. For those of you in the United States who don't know anything about cricket, then I can't tell you. What we talk about, first base, second base, the pitcher. Here comes the pitcher again, into the batter. Oh my goodness, no run off that ball. So it doesn't look like they're going to get a run. I'm not sure why they didn't run, but they now have 2 balls. And they need now 7 runs, 6 to tie, 7 to win. And I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I could tell you that it's a tense period right here in the studios of VON Radio, the voice of Nevis, as we try to get to this magic number of 6 runs to tie, and then we have a golden over, or 7 runs to win. We just had a dot ball. I don't know why we'd have dot balls at this stage of the game. But, of course, we have some tail-enders for the Patriots, and so we're waiting to see what they will do. We need a big hit. We need a big hit. Wide again. Wide again. So that is now 187. We need 5 runs off 2 balls. We're right there. Right there. All we need is a 6, and it's all over. That's all she wrote. But this bowler has given away 4 extras in this over so far. Only 2 balls, 2 legal balls left. I believe the last thing we need now is a no ball and a free hit, and then we'll be home. So let's see how that goes. This bowler is really not doing well for Jamaica, which is good news for St. Kitts and Nevis. I'm afraid to say that because the caller who just called in may tell me I shouldn't say that, because we should be working together. And if I say that Jamaica bowling badly is good for St. Kitts and Nevis, does not show Caribbean solidarity, and we need Caribbean solidarity. Of course, I'm just joking. But certainly we can tell the tension is rising here as we look at this. Let's see what's going to happen. Oh my goodness gracious, it's all over. The Patriots have won big 6, and that looks like the win for the Patriots, 193 for 8. A wonderful win for the St. Kitts Nevis Patriots. Let's go Patriots! That's right. We have won the match against Jamaica. Playoff. We're moving on. St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots will be champions this year. You heard it here first. We'll be champions this year for 35 years of independence. And if you're not careful, we get them right here in Nevis for our National Heroes concert on Sunday. That's how important this thing is going to be. And so congratulations to them. A big 6 to end the innings. Jamaica fought hard. They fought well. But at the end of the day, Jamaica might be large, but St. Kitts Nevis Talawa. And so, thank you. We have succeeded tonight, and I'm feeling very good. Let's go to the phones. Take a call. Good evening. You're on the mark. Hello?
Mark,
yes.
You counting backward all the time, man. when they want 7 runs, you say want 8.
By the way,
when they want 6, when they want 7, they say, when they want 6, they say they want 7. What faculty how much?
I thought 193 was the target.
Oh, I'm glad you know it's 193 is the target.
Yeah, so what are you making noise about?
But you said 10, you're going backward all the time, man.
All right. Good result. Good result. All right. All right, brother. Let's stick with the phone, take some more calls. Good evening. You're on the mark. Okay. Callers, we're asking again. If you can call 869-469-1616, 869-469-1700. Congratulations to the St. Kitts Nevis Patriots. Wonderful game tonight. They're beating Jamaica. They're moving on. Let's go to the phones. Good evening. You're on the mark.
Hey, Mark.
Yes.
You just sound like a real commentator and commentsman, man. Next time we have the Buffet League up in Harton, I'm going to put you in the box with Micah, man.
No, you can't put me with Micah, because Micah will see 10 people and say, you got about 3,000 here tonight. About 3,000 are here tonight. Oh, my goodness. The park up here is filled with people. I know Micah take me up my house, because I hear the park full when I go in and see 10 people. And Micah say,
okay, Mark, it's always good to have fun, and, you know, and make people feel happy.
Yeah, man.
Okay, man. Have a good night.
Brother. Good. We have 20 minutes left on the show tonight, and we're calling for your calls, your comments. If you want to say congratulations to the Patriots, you want to tell us about your state of readiness for the storm tomorrow, you want to talk about the Heroes concert, which we hope will not be affected and that we'll be able to have it as planned on Sunday. Whatever it is you want to do, call in 869-469-1616, 869-469-1700. Let's go back to the phones and take some calls. Good evening. You're on the mark.
Hello, good evening, man.
Yes, good evening to you.
Hi. You know the 19th is my birthday, Independence.
Oh, yes?
You know who talking to you?
I catch the voice, yes.
Okay.
How's my lady?
She gone to church.
Okay. When she come home, make sure you tell her I asked for her. You're coming home. You're coming home for the concert Sunday?
I want to, but I don't know if I'm gonna make it.
All right.
I got too money.
Well, if you can, we'd appreciate it. Good to see you.
Yeah, because I want to celebrate independence too.
Yes, we're having a big independence parade here as well.
It's my birthday.
Man, where you could celebrate a better birthday than Nevis?
That's the truth.
Well, let me wish you a happy birthday in advance.
All right.
All right, and I do not anticipate I'll be back here next Wednesday night. So,
okay.
In light of how the holiday falls and the fact that we will have the cocktail ceremony, but if you can, it'll be good because we, as I said, having the cocktail this year at the deputy governor's residence in Bath, which, as you know, has been closed down for a long time.
Yeah.
So it will be a momentous occasion.
Okay.
Okay? Happy birthday, brother. All the best.
All right. Yes.
All right. And tell the missus I send my love.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Good. 20 minutes to the hour of 10 o'clock. We're taking your calls. If you're just tuning in, I'm Mark Brantley, and this is On the Mark. Straight talk across the Narrows. You're tuning into the Eastern Caribbean's only powerhouse, VON Radio, the voice of Nevis, at www.vonradio.com or 860 on your AM dial. We're taking calls from Nevis, from St. Kitts, from St. Martin, from wherever you are. And we're asking you to call in and share your views with us on any of the matters. We're celebrating the fact that St. Kitts and Nevis is one of only 4 Caribbean countries that have been given the right by the United States of America not to have the interview process. And so our people will save considerable sums of money not having to go to Barbados. But read the fine print. This only applies if you live within St. Kitts and Nevis or within the jurisdiction of the Embassy of Barbados, that is within the Eastern Caribbean, that your visa expired within the last 12 months. So it doesn't apply to everybody, and it certainly doesn't apply to you if you're a first-time applicant for your visa. But over time, we hope that this will save thousands of dollars to families up and down the length and breadth of St. Kitts and Nevis. And we say to God be the glory. Great things he has done, great things he continues to do. We pray to him for our protection and our guidance, that he may be our God and our guide. as we see Tropical Storm Isaac approaching tomorrow, that he may protect our properties, protect our life, and protect our country. Let us go back to the phones. We have somebody holding. No? Okay, sorry about that. 869-469-1616. 869-469-1700. Those are the numbers to call. I had stated earlier my congratulations to our local police for taking 6 firearms off the street today and a considerable amount of ammunition. These actions save lives. These actions send a clear message to the criminal element within our community that we will not stop, we will not relent. And as our Prime Minister likes to say, and I agree and quote him, in any confrontation between law enforcement and the criminal element, law enforcement must win. Simple. Let's go back to the phones. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Hello, good evening. I'm calling from Tortola, and I must say thank you for bringing the cricket here. I'm here listening.
Yes.
And the last gentleman that called in, for him, I'm so sorry for him.
You're sorry for him?
Yes.
Why are you sorry for him?
I don't like what happened.
You don't like what happened? Meaning what?
What?
The
guy was going to do to him.
The gentleman who talk about his door?
Yes.
Well, he said he's going to paint the door tonight. So, I don't know if he painted white tonight and then maybe next week he painted green. I don't know what will happen, but I believe he needs to go and talk to the police. If he say here or he heard other here, right?
It is so sad. It is so sad. It's so sad.
How's the BVI?
Oh, what I must say, the weather here is okay. It's okay. And last night we had a 4-point something and the earthquake around 12:15.
Wow.
Yes.
No damage, I pray?
No damage, no.
Okay.
I like listening to you, man. I like to listen to you.
Well, thanks a lot for listening and thanks for calling as well, okay?
Okay,
all right.
Have a blessed evening.
You
okay,
too. God bless
bye-bye.
you. God bless you. Thank you for your
Bye-bye.
call. All right, so we had St. Martin, we have the BVI, and others out there who may want to call in. Certainly we encourage them to call. The Patriots have beaten the Jamaican, what they call themselves, Talawa. But they weren't the ones who were Talawa tonight. It was the Patriots. Little St. Kitts and Nevis punching well above its weight. That is why I feel so proud about this country. We have our problems. Of course we have problems. But we continue to punch well above our weight. And that for me is so critically important, that we continue to do the right thing and continue to work hard. Even when we have setbacks, we continue to work hard. 2 islands, 1 paradise. We're moving ahead. And we are really doing, I think, a good job. We're enjoying the best days. The economy, jobs, government, transparency and openness, the best days. Can we do more? Yes. Will we do more? Yes. But we're moving in the right direction. Let's go back to the phones. Good evening, you're on the mark. Hello?
Mark?
Yes, you're on the mark. Go ahead.
Man, me yesterday morning, me paint the door.
You done paint the door?
Yesterday morning, I tell you, not tonight.
Okay, well, since you done paint the door.
Yesterday morning, not tonight.
Okay, nobody tell me what color you painted, okay?
No, not tonight. Yesterday morning, I get up.
All right, sir. Well, you take it easy. If they give you any more trouble, paint it a different color next week. All right, let's go back to the phones. Take some more calls. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Hey, good night.
Good night to you.
But I just watched the cricket, right? And I found that we are win. That we not going to depend on Gale alone. They might really do it for me. So, you know what I'm saying?
But Gale hasn't really been making too many runs, huh?
No, Gale been a fair man. Watch out. When Gale out, me say, me got Gale out. Because he can't get away the ball. So, yes, less about them. Nothing less about it, yes about them. Anyway.
All right. Good. Thanks for that call. Quarter to the hour. We got 15 minutes left. Let's see if anybody else wants to talk to us. 469-1616. 469-1700. Tonight, we have been talking about the school closure tomorrow. Government offices closed tomorrow because of the threat of Tropical Storm Isaac. We have been advised by the Nevis Disaster Management Department that we should get the effects around 10 a.m. and we're asking our people to be safe. We're asking senior officials at our schools and our government offices to come in and secure the offices. And of course, we are keen to protect our children and protect our teachers, protect our civil servants, our public servants generally. And we're asking the private sector to be guided as well. It will be a matter for them, of course, but we're asking that they put the interests of their workers to the forefront and the safety and security of everyone to the forefront. We're told that the Four Seasons has taken the decision to close, but they hope to reopen on Saturday, as, of course, we all assess what the position is in relation to any damage that may come. We are praying and hoping that this storm does no damage to us, that it comes and goes about its business, but we're also praying and hoping that it does no damage to our neighboring islands. Particularly, I want us to remember the people of Dominica in our prayers, because they are under threat as we speak, and they are, of course, not yet recovered from the ravages of the storms last year. Recalling as well that they had Tropical Storm Erica, which did considerable damage the year before. So Dominica has really had a difficult time, and we pray for the government and the people there that God may be gracious to them. Ladies and gentlemen, this is On the Mark. I'm your host, Mark Brantley, and we're taking your calls at 869-469-1616, 869-469-1700. In the last few minutes of the show, 15 minutes or so, while I wait for anyone who may wish to call, I just wanted to give a quick update. The Honorable Deputy Premier, Alexis Jeffers, has been doing an excellent job developing Nevis, as we like to say, brick by brick. I wanted to just report that he reported this morning that the new pier at Wally is going extremely well, that the first portion of the pier has been done. The people who are constructing the pier, I'm told there'll be a slight hiatus. They will go to St. Martin, collect more of the slabs, and come back to finish the structure. And I look forward, certainly, I think all of us look forward to that pier being concluded in very short order. We then, of course, have the reception area to do, and the whole area to be landscaped and ready, and we hope to have a grand opening very soon. So that pier should be finished in short order. Let's take this call and then come back to you. No, we've lost that caller. Caller, please call back, 869-469-1616 or 869-469-1700. So that pier is moving along nicely. We are grateful that despite some hiccups we've had, that we are seeing good movement there. The police station at Newcastle, which the Honorable Deputy Premier has also been asked to take the lead on, that too has been progressing very nicely. And today he reported to me that he will have the grand opening of a fantastic housing development that he has supervised, has happened under his watch over in the Maddens area, and that will happen next week, Thursday. I believe at 2 p.m. is a time that has been scheduled, and certainly we look forward to that as well. So a tremendous amount has been happening. We are going to be having a series of opening ceremonies because we have come to the end of some very important projects, the extension of the abattoir, the extension of the veterinary clinic. We have lots of roads in Stony Grove, in Braziers, notwithstanding they've been in use, that they have not yet been formally opened, blessed. We have roads in Brownhill that are proceeding apace and doing very well. We have the Treasury building in Charlestown, which is moving very well. We have the hospital, a new wing up there. It's like a brand new hospital being built up there. I went there in the last few weeks, was very impressed with the progress. I want to thank the contractors who are doing an excellent job. We have Government House that is about to be unveiled to the public, certainly for the festivities, for the culture, the cocktail for our 35th anniversary of independence. So we're really looking forward to these very important events as we continue to demonstrate as a government and as a people that we're moving in the right direction. We are moving in the right direction, and that on every measure that you have, the government is performing for the people of Nevis. That, for me, is critical. We'll continue those efforts, to be sure, as we progress, as we push forward, and we hope that the people will recognize the efforts, the considerable efforts that are being made. Bart Village, I want to tell you that we will be coming there shortly. We want to have a meeting there because we have a project that we're going to be unveiling over there. So some of the youngsters over there who have said that they're not working, I want you to know that some work will be available very soon. And Minister Brand and I hope to come and to have a dialogue, some dialogue with you in short order. We're just trying to get past the independence, and then we get down back to work again in a serious way in our communities. So we look forward certainly to engaging and continue to engage with all the people of our country as we celebrate our successes and we face our challenges together. Let's go back to the phones. It is 10 minutes to the hour. Good evening. You're on the mark.
Yeah, Mark, first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
I don't want to tell you how to run your show, but you got a guy you don't spend a lot of time with. I think he's a distraction. People turning off the radio since listening to this guy. I don't know who he is. I don't know. He seems to be campaigning for somebody or something. But I think you should limit him. No more than 5 minutes and get rid of him. Otherwise, you're going to lose listeners.
Okay.
And I'm telling you this as somebody who listens to you a lot. And I think I get fed up listening to this guy. He seems to be one of the guys who seem to know everything, and he's, as far as I'm concerned, he's a waste of time. He needs to retire and cool out.
Okay.
That's all I have to say.
All right. Well, caller, thanks for your view. I've had people say that the gentleman calls in. I confess that I enjoy my exchanges. I have never found him to be disrespectful or discourteous. He has his political views, no doubt. He has his agenda, no doubt. But then I'm sure he will argue that all of us have our agenda. But sometimes we have to be willing to engage and to listen to different views and different points of view. And I think through that engagement, we sometimes learn from each other. Through that engagement, we are sometimes able to educate people who might be listening about issues. And through that engagement, we can have different views aired. So I'm sorry that you think it may lose listeners. I hope that doesn't happen. Because, of course, on this show, we've always said that we invite all shades of public opinion and that we encourage people to call and encourage people to be part and parcel of the show. And so we don't, as a practice, hang up on people or disconnect people or try to limit people, unless, of course, we feel that it's going too long. Tonight, I had a conversation with him because there was time, people weren't calling in. I think people were occupied with the cricket, exciting cricket. I was, in a way, doing the show and having one eye on the cricket and one eye here on the screen. So I recognize that that was the case. But let us not be too dismissive of each other, caller. Let us listen to what each other has to say, because we can learn from each other. And even though the person might be saying something that we do not like or that doesn't accord with our own views, there may be some kernel of truth in it. And so we would need to continue to be steadfast and be sure and be understanding that in our country, as a democracy, different views are not only necessary, they're welcomed. Let's go back to the phones. We have 6 minutes left. Good evening. You're on the mark.
Good night. Okay. A man got advice, right? If a man show advice, show advice. If you guys want to scar in it, if you have advice, show advice.
Okay, thanks a lot for that and for that contribution. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have had a good run tonight. As we close the show, we have about 6 minutes left, so we still have time for a call or two. But I just want again to remind listeners that tomorrow schools will be closed. It's a precautionary measure. Government offices will be closed tomorrow, but we're asking senior officials of the schools and the government to go in and secure the offices as Tropical Storm Isaac is expected to bring some effects to us starting at around 10 a.m. Tomorrow, Thursday. And so we've taken that precautionary measure. We are terribly sorry for any inconvenience caused, but based on the advice that we had, we thought it was prudent because the northerly track that the storm is now taking, we are told, may bring it within 100 miles of the south of Nevis and therefore have some impact on our island. And so we pray and hope that the impact will be minimal. We continue to ask you to pray for us and for our neighbors in the Caribbean that these storms would pass without any damage. We continue to pray, of course, for those in the Carolinas and elsewhere who are facing the threat of Florence. This time of year is always a difficult time for us as we face the consequences of storms. And so we look forward certainly to no damage or minimal damage tomorrow. As we get through that storm, because we're told that it will not last for long, so we continue our preparations for the big National Heroes concert on Sunday at the Cultural Village starting at 9 p.m., which will be headlined by Third World and Steel Pulse. So the first time 2 superstar reggae bands on the same stage on the island of Nevis. And they, of course, will have support from Du Jour, Byron Messiah, Delhi, Ranks, Speedy, Ripper HD. The whole show will be hosted by the one and only Sugar Bowl. And so we really encourage one and all to come out and bring their friends. Wear your national colors. The entrance is free. Free. F-R-E-E. So just come on in, bring your best behavior, wear your national colors, and let us really show up in our numbers to celebrate our national heroes, but also to celebrate and pay tribute to Steve Grizzly Nisbet of Brickhill, Nevis, who was the original drummer for Steel Pulse and was with that band in their heyday from 1977 until 2001. He was the drummer. Steve regrettably passed away in January of this year, and the band has decided to pay tribute to him right here where he was born, in Little Nevis. And so we look forward very much to that. Also, for those musicians and budding musicians out there, Third World has agreed to do a workshop on Saturday at NEPAC. And so Third World, in conjunction with the NCDF here, have decided that they will do a workshop with musicians. And so we're asking the musicians here in Nevis and in St. Kitts to come over and be a part of that. It's very, very important that bands of this caliber who have achieved so much fame can come and give something back to the youngsters here on the island of Nevis. And so we encourage one and all to come out and be a part of that. And we look forward certainly to the contribution that Third World is making and continues to make. We also, ladies and gentlemen, look forward to the youngsters who will be appearing on the same stage as these veteran artists. And we certainly hope that we will have an incident-free event. We expect thousands of people. I've asked for 10,000. But certainly we expect thousands of people to be at the Cultural Village on Sunday at 9 p.m. for this historic concert, National Heroes concert, under the theme One Nevis, One Federation, One Love. And so we are promoting this. And again, most importantly, wear your national colors. Wear your national colors as you come out to this event. We want really to turn it into a really beautiful event of unity, of togetherness. I'm inviting all the members of the Guyanese community, whether you're in Cane Garden, whether you're in Gingerland, Newcastle, wherever you are, all the members of the Hispanic community, please come on out. All the people from Rollins, all the people from Bath Village and Jessops and Cotton Ground, all the Rastaman and Bobo Dread, wherever you are, come out. It's going to be a fantastic concert. All the churches, please come. Hear Steel Pulse tell us to chant a psalm a day. If only each of us chanted a psalm each day, we would be such a wonderful island. Come and hear Third World tell us, try your love. That is the idea, bringing love, bringing togetherness, bringing our people together. One love, one Nevis, one federation, one love. That's the theme. Wear your national colors and be a part of it. Tomorrow, please stay safe. Ensure that you follow directions, listen to your radio, listen right here to Vaughn, because I'm sure they're going to have the latest updates for you. That's our show this evening. The band has struck up. It means we have to go. I want to thank one and all who called, who were part of the show. I want to say congratulations to our St. Kitts Nevis Patriots for beating Jamaica tonight in a thrilling match. Only one ball left. They were able to score the winning runs, and we are moving on. And I believe that the Patriots are going to win this one for our 35th anniversary of independence. National Heroes Concert, Sunday, Nevis Cultural Village, 9 p.m. sharp. Steel Pulse and Third World. One stage, one night, massive concert. One and all are invited. Entrance is completely free. Just wear your national colors. So what we say? One Nevis, one federation, one love. That's our show. Good night, and may God bless you, and may He keep us and all of our Caribbean islands safe in the face of these storms that come at this time of year. Thank you, and good night.